This is part two of all the unboxings that I have to do. Obviously, everything's already been unboxed. So if you see me like change clothes, looking different, everything's already been unboxed. Nothing's been sitting in boxes for several days. So this next video is going to be about the snakes that I got. It's not going to be as long as video, so I'm not going to go and run through everything real quick. So first I want to talk about the last order I got from US Ark, which is the company, or the, I guess it's not really a company. I mean, I guess it is a company, but it's more so of a committee of people that fight against laws and regulations that are against us being able to keep reptiles. So for example, in Florida, they've done a lot of laws that people can't keep certain snakes, people can't keep certain animals, and those same laws are trying to be passed in different states, and US Ark has been fighting them to make sure people are able to keep certain animals. So that is essentially somewhat how that goes. So if you haven't, I do suggest that you go check them out. I'll put the link in the description below. I get my shirts and stuff from there because, you know, why not? They are pretty cool. Now, I did receive something from them. Let's just run through everything. So I'm only going to be posting pictures of them because, like I said in the other video, I did an entire 50-minute video and it was no sound. So I decided to just break it up into several videos. But I already have the keychain on. I already have everything else put up. So I'm just going to show you the pictures of them. First thing I got out of the entire box was a sticker. You always get a sticker. It's always a sticker in the box or in the package. Then I got a keychain. This was a gecko keychain. It said US Ark on it. And if you don't know what that stands for, it's United States Association of Reptile Keepers. So again, they fight for us to be able to keep our reptiles and fight all the laws against our reptiles. So that's essentially what they do. So if you also want to stay up to date to any laws or regulations in your state, you could probably check them out. They do post like newsletters and stuff like that, new laws that are trying to come out or things they've done to stop laws from coming out. So if you are interested in stuff like that, again, go to the link in the description below. So I got keychain, so this is gonna show how much I don't drink soda. I got what's it called? It's like one of those the foam soda things that you insert the can in and then you hold it so your hands don't get cold. I don't know what it's called. I don't drink soda. I drink probably like one Sprite every month and that's it. And that's usually when I go out to eat somewhere, and I don't drink. And sometimes I just get water when I go out to eat. I'm pretty much water centric. Like that's probably, and I'll drink juice here and there for breakfast, but that's probably all I drink is water with like maybe 10% something else on top. But that's pretty much all I drink. I don't even drink coffee. Not a huge fan of coffee. The only time I get caffeine is when I take pre-workout to go to the gym, which I haven't in like a month. So getting weak over here, but that's essentially why I don't know what this thing's called. But here's a picture of it anyways. I think it's super cool that there's a bearded dragon on it. I'm gonna have to reach out to them and see if they can put a bearded dragon on a t-shirt, because I would definitely rock that all the time. As you guys already know, I have two t-shirts with the tortoise on the back. They're the green ones. They're green. I mean, I don't know how else to describe them. You don't really ever see the tortoise because usually you only see the front of the shirt. But it's a t-shirt with a tortoise on the back, and I have one that has tarantulas on the back, and I obviously don't have any tarantulas. I obviously don't have any tortoise. I used to have a tortoise, but I don't have one anymore. And now the new one that I got, I also have one that's just gray. There's nothing on the back, and it says US Ark in red, white, and blue on the front. So that one's pretty cool as well. But I've never got anything with an animal that I actually have. So that bearded dragon thing is pretty cool. But then I got a shirt, and this shirt may be the theme of where I'm headed here in the future. So let's look at this shirt, and I'll show you the shirt real quick. So, pretty good color. US Ark here in the front, like always. Now the back is a boa. Hope you guys can see that pretty well. So this boa on the shirt is pretty cool. And the reason it's pretty cool is because I actually have a boa now. So super cool. Like I said, it's cool to receive, you know, things, merchandise with the animals that you rock, you know. So I have a bearded dragon can cooler thing, whatever that thing's called. Now I have a boa shirt, and I actually have a boa. So pretty cool. I mean, what you think? What you thinking? What you thinking? All right, so this is only one of the boas that I have. Let me see how well you guys can see her colors, because the lighting over here is terrible. This is a Coraline. So the thing about snakes in general, a lot of snakes have what we call lineage or lines. And whenever you breed and you line breed, you're looking for certain aspects or certain traits in a snake. So this particular snake is Call Albino, which is a line of albino. But within that line, they also have line breeding done, and some people go for the coral look. So this one has a lot more oranges, a lot more, I don't know how else to explain it. It's a lot of oranges, a lot of pink tones, and obviously it still has yellow because it's an albino. Now, the only thing about the coral line versus the other lines, like the lipstick line has a little bit more pinks in it. And this one, if you can look at the belly, it's practically all orange. So pretty cool still. I mean, she's obviously, you can see I'm handling her. She's pretty chill. This girl here is probably about 4 feet long or something like that. Now, one thing about boas versus ball pythons, they grow a lot slower, and people grow them slower, so they don't have to worry about them getting overweight too quick and growing too quick, because that actually very much shortens their lifespan. And these things can get up to 10 feet, and which obviously I don't have any that are 10 feet, but it's something that I'm looking forward to. I've never had any big snakes, and obviously this is not really a big snake in terms of what else is out there, but I know that she's gonna get big, and what that really means about she's getting big is that this beauty is only gonna amplify, because she's gonna get bigger, and this color and everything is just gonna be more to look at. So this is gonna be something I'm really looking forward to, because now this girl is a hypo Call Albino, so this is what we call sun glow in the boa. I don't know, I just got in there, okay? I'm just part of the community now. But what they call in the boa community, they call this a sun glow, which is a hypo albino. So there's different lines of sun glow, essentially, because people can do Call Albino, they can do Sharp Albino, but essentially this is a Call Albino sun glow from the coral line of Call Albino, and super nice. She has also possible head aniri. And aniri is the xanthic equivalent of morphs in boas, because it does the exact same thing. It takes away all of the color pigmentation and leaves the blacks, browns, grays, and that's essentially what you have in an aniri. And the reason I know that is because I have this dude, and this dude is, and come on, chill out. He's actually in shed, so he's not 100% happy with me right now. This dude is an IMG Aniri Possible Jungle. So IMG is a morph, a really dark morph, so that's where you're getting all the black. Jungle actually lightens up the snake, so I would assume that this guy is probably not a jungle, because jungle acts a little bit like a lightning morph. So it's unlike hypo, because hypo really lightens up the snake, but jungle lightens it up as well. So this guy's probably gonna shed here soon, and that's why he's being a little bit crazy. You can see it in his belly. His belly's gray because the shed's about to come off. So again, this guy, super black, super dark. He is a proven breeder. Now, the only thing about him is I didn't expect to get an adult this soon. I wanted to get just, I didn't even want to get a baby. I wanted to get some bigger juvenile, so 3-4 feet, something like that, so I can grow them out and also not have to worry about them, not making it or something like that. Not that boas are fragile, but they are a little bit more fragile than ball pythons. Once you get them started though, they're, 100% just like a ball python. They eat all the time. Actually, they might have a better feeding response than a ball python, but that is essentially what I was worried about. I just didn't want to have any issues with any baby boas being my first snake. my first type of boa or whatever. So I went with just some larger boas. I didn't expect to get a adult or anything like that, but so I got this guy with the next guy I'm about to show you, and this guy here, I wasn't expecting again to get an adult, but whenever I saw this guy, the guy was like, "Hey, you want to include anything to your box?" Look, I do the same thing. I'm a salesman, right? I'm trying to sell you reptiles. So when you buy something from me and you seem interested in other things, I'm gonna be like, "Hey, you want to put anything else in the box?" And if you say no, then obviously I'm not gonna bug you about it. But if you say yes, then more than likely you're gonna find something else anyway. So I just try to, honestly, I do that to obviously make a sale, but I also do that to save people money, because you don't want to have to pay for shipping again. And obviously it saves me some money because I don't have to buy supplies again just to ship you an animal again when you could have got it in the last box. But I understand some people, have to be prepared. It can't be something spontaneous like that, which is perfectly fine. But I do the same thing, right? I ask people, you want to add something to the box to save you on shipping? And I said, you know what? Let me look. Because I had just sold a few things, and now I've had this guy probably like 3, 4, 5 weeks, something like that. And so I had already sold a few things, and I was like, you know what? What happened to you, dude? You touch yourself? He touched himself, scared the hell out of me. And I was like, you know what? I sold a few things. Let me look. And I saw this guy, and it was during Black Friday. And he was like, everything has Black Friday discounting. And I'm like, no freaking way, dude. And look at that. Look at this snake. This snake is gorgeous. You guys can't see this, right? Because the camera doesn't pick up colors. But this guy has iridescence. Oh, man, you can't see it. He has teals and purples and greens and blues. Oh, my God. All the colors of the rainbow on this guy's scales. And honestly, it's a little bit dulled out right now because he's in shed, but God, it still looks so good. Amazing. I wish people could see this in person, which is why I have decided I'm going to start breeding boas. I've never had anything give live birth, right? So it's, I used to have fish. So technically I've seen things give live birth, and my wife just had a kid. I have 3 kids. So technically I've seen things give live birth, but I've never seen live birth in a snake. I've never seen, they call it what's it called? Oviporous? I don't know what the word is. I have to look it up. I'll put it down on the screen here. But it's whenever you carry the eggs inside and you incubate them inside and then you gave birth, right? Technically they're hatching inside of the mom, but they are coming out via, the birth canal. So it's technically giving birth, it's delivering babies. So I've never seen that in a snake. I've never seen that in a reptile in general. So I thought that would be pretty cool. Now the thing about boas is they require a lot more space. So I'm not gonna have as many boas as I do other species of animals. So I'll probably top out at maybe 10 boas just to, because the other thing about boas is you can only do 1 male to 1 female per year. So that means, and also females need to take a break every year or every other year. So that means for 2 years, you're breeding 1 male to 2 females. So that's what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna have 1 male to 2 females. So it'll probably be more around the lines of maybe 9. I'll have 3 males and 6 females, something like that. So that is probably where I'm looking, stopping with the boas. And so I'll breed 1 male to 1 female. Then the next year I'll give that female a break, and I'll breed the male to the other female. So every male is gonna have 2 females, but they're gonna be taking breaks and then doing it every other year. So look at that. God, he's so beautiful. This is a beautiful snake. I hope the lighting is not ruining his looks, because he is amazing looking. And the crazy thing is, now, obviously he came out a little bit extra when I pulled him out. So he was not having it, but he's calmed down since I've had him out, and you guys can see that. The only thing that scares him is him touching stuff, which is super weird, but he's amazing looking. My wife, I pulled him out, and she was like, wow, that's a black snake. She didn't want to touch him, but she really, she was like, wow, that's nice. But the snake that she liked the most was the Coraline Sunglow, the Call Albino Hypo Sunglow. So she really liked that look of the boa. So that's going to be, it's interesting. My wife's not into reptiles. She's not passionate about reptiles. She only sees reptiles because I have reptiles. If it wasn't for me, she probably wouldn't even know what kind of reptiles exist in this world and why there's so many different morphs and all that. But she is, whenever I find something that she actually likes, like she loves the Axanthic, she loves the pieds, she really likes the pieds. And then now I found the boa that she likes. I'm like, that makes me want to breed them more, because even though she's not into reptiles, she actually gets a little bit of enjoyment from seeing them hatch and seeing them born and stuff like that. She really likes when the baby bearded dragons start hatching. But so it brings me joy whenever she actually finds amusement and joy in the things that I'm doing, even though she's not into reptiles. So it's interesting how that works. But maybe one day, when the kids are older and she has more free time, she'll come back here and reptile out with me. But let's go grab the other snake. The other one that I got in the same box with him. So like I said, I didn't want to get any babies. I just wanted to get some, established juveniles, subadults, whatever you want to call them. Now this guy obviously is smaller than the last two I've shown. He is maybe a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. But he is a male. Males usually get smaller than females. Males, I think the biggest male I've seen is probably like 7 feet. And typically most people don't want their males that big anyways. People usually try to get their males to around 6 feet and then they slow them down. So pretty nice. Now let's talk about this guy's genetics. This is a possible super hypo. So he's definitely a hypo. He is also a possible jungle. So the reason I said possible for both of those, and the reason that the breeder said possible for both of those, is because hypo lightens up the morph. Jungle lightens up is a lightning morph as well. So whenever you have both of them in the snake, you don't know if the lightning that's happening is from super hypo or from the combination of hypo and jungle. They are not compatible. They're different morphs. They just act similar. Now, I think the other thing that makes this hard is that this guy also has fire in him, which is also a lightning morph. So whenever you have 3 lightning morphs on the snake, it's really hard to determine if you have a super hypo, a hypo jungle, or whatever else you may have. So he was sold to me as a possible super hypo, jungle, fire, het call albino. And the guy, he said that all his lines are probably, I don't remember he might have not said anything. I think the only one I asked about is the visual call albino, and that was a coral line. But based off the way this guy looks, I would assume he's probably for the coral line as well, because he has a lot of orangish tones to him. Because again, the coral part of the line is line breeding. So you're just trying to get the colors into the snake, but it doesn't actually change the fact that the genetics are the same. So it's still call albino. So coral, again, is just the coloration, the color phase of the snake, which happens in, for example, hognoses. They have the red phase albinos. That's just what they are. They're red phase, so they have more red than the regular albinos do. So same thing goes for this one. The coral albino just has a lot more coloration, oranges, pinks, whatever, than they have on the other lines of albino. There's also a lipstick line, and I don't know all the lines yet, because I just started doing research. So that was the other reason why I wanted to get some smaller snakes instead of adults right off the bat, because I wanted to wait at least 1 season before I bred. And typically when you buy adults anyways, you have to give them time to adjust before you start breeding them. Their breeding season is also similar to ball pythons. They usually start around September, October, and they usually stop breeding around January to March or something like that. And because they are keeping the eggs inside of them and letting them hatch inside of them and delivering the babies, they actually have a 3-month incubation period inside of the female, inside of the mom. And that's essentially how that works. So they go through the entire process of mating, and then they have an ovulation. And so what I found out is boas actually have 2 egg sacs, one on each side of the body, and they can ovulate them at separate times. Typically it's within, a few days of each other. So by the time you see one ovulation on one side, you may start seeing that swell go down, and then the other side will start swelling. So usually it's about the same period but I've seen that, I've heard that it can happen separately, so that's pretty cool as well. So you see one side swelling more than the other, and then you see the other side swelling more than the previous side that was swelling more. So that's pretty cool in my opinion. Learning a whole bunch of new things that I've never even thought I would learn, because I told myself I would never get a large snake. And obviously this is nowhere near the largest snake type in the world, because obviously there's reticulated pythons and Burmese pythons, but this is the largest snake I'll probably ever have, because I don't want anything that can eat my French bulldog. So yeah, so no retics, no Burmese pythons. Boas is probably as big as it's getting, and that's because they give live birth. And because they give live birth, you have to wait a lot longer to breed them, because the females actually have to be able to sustain themselves for several months without eating. So that is the other thing. People usually wait about 5 years to breed a female, 2 to 3 years to breed a male, depending on the size of the male. Males can start breeding at around 4 feet, and females usually have to be not any length in particular, but they have to be, they have to be at least 8 pounds, which is a lot. But that's obviously to make sure that they're going to be able to sustain themselves when when they give birth and when they go on the food strike, because they are obviously pregnant. So the other thing about this guy that I found out is, so they have albino lines of boas have what are called fear of light. So they have photophobia, and that's not because they actually are scared of light, it's because they're sensitive to light. So whenever you keep them in an enclosure that has light, they actually hide the entire time because they are scared of light, because it hurts their eyes, because they're albino. Now this guy obviously is not a visual albino, so it's just something you have to worry about. Now the other thing is, another thing I heard is when you breed albino to albino, that photophobia actually appears more in the babies, versus when you breed het to visual, it appears less. I don't know how that works. It's not an exact science based off what I've heard. So I'm just letting you know what I've heard, and I'm just letting you know how I've heard it, and that again, it's not an exact science, but pretty dope. Now I did say that this guy was a fire. And fire is the same as it is in ball pythons. It is a black-eyed leucistic morph, and they only have one black-eyed leucistic morph. They have fire, and that's it. So the thing about fire is super hard to come by on a black-eyed leucistic female or black-eyed leucistic male without, selling your car and buying one. Like they're pretty expensive. So the other thing is, he is a fire, and I got him a fire female to breed with later on, because even though he is het call albino, which I could use that call albino female to breed with. Now that call albino female is possible het Aneri, so I will probably breed her to the black snake, the IMG Aneri first, and try to prove out that Aneri in her. If it doesn't prove out, then she'll just be going to this guy and producing albinos, and that's perfectly fine. But this guy will have either the fire and her, or I'll have to find, if that snake does prove out het Aneri, then I will just find him another female that is het call albino or visual call albino. So super nice snake. Obviously you see they're all pretty chill, and I want to save the best for last, because the last one is just a fire. It's just the most basic snake I have. She's a fire 100% het super stripe, and I don't have any super stripe. That's something that maybe I'll get into, but as of right now I'm not really looking into super stripe, because all it does is it makes a stripe go solidly down the back here. And I mean, that might look cool to some people, but as of right now, that's not something I'm into. I'm more into the albinos and the Aneri, so that's what I'm going to go for. The other thing about Aneri and albino, so whenever you have both of those, obviously it's called a snow, because that's just what they call it. But Aneri and call albino has a snow line that actually, when you add IMG to it, well, actually IMG, because it's a blacker morph, whenever you do albino, it makes the IMGs pretty much stand out into, or turn down, dull out to a lighter color because of that albino. So that IMG I'm really looking forward to and seeing it in albino. So that's maybe what I'll do, is I'll find an IMG that is visual albino or het call albino. And the other thing I want to look for is a motley Aneri, because motley is another darkening morph. So when you put it with IMG, you get a pitch black snake. Usually the blackness from IMG takes a little bit time to show up, because it takes time to progress. But when you add motley to it, usually within the first year of the snake's life, it's completely pitch black. So you have an ING motley, and then a Neri also helps out with that darkness. So let's go look at the fire female. So this is the more typical look of a boa. You get all these black speckling going everywhere. All the ones that I've shown obviously have morphs, so you don't really see all of this black speckling. So this is, again, the typical look of the boa. That's the tail of this boa constrictor or boa. It's a BCI or BI imperator is what they call it. That's the boa line. But these boas, I like the way they look. I like their pattern. I like the way the tail looks. So this one here is actually the most active snake I have, and the person that sold her to me, he said that she is not feisty, but she is skittish. And I have noticed that myself. She is actually becoming a lot better because I've handled her a lot, but essentially she is skittish. She tries to hide a lot. You can see it. She kind of just been trying to find a place to hide, which is perfectly fine. But the other thing about the fire morph is you can see the orange is coming up the sides there. Super cool. And now there's other morphs, like combinations of morphs that can make that happen, but I like that the fire morph does that. I mean, this girl is just fire. Had super stripe, obviously, but there she goes, getting all crazy. But the orange is super cool, and if I could get her to calm down and stop whacking her tail everywhere, I'd show you her tail as well. But come on, look at that. Super cool. Why are you going crazy over here? Yeah, she's the one that doesn't like to be held that much. She actually doesn't mind being held. It's more so the holding. You can hold me, but if you're gonna hold me, put me in a safe space. So yeah, she's whacking her tail around, trying to get me off of her. Not really. She's just more so trying to find a place to hide, which is perfectly fine. Now, I ain't scared of her, but I know that usually what scared snakes are the ones that bite. So that's the only thing I'm fearful of, is she is a little bit scared, a little bit frightened, so I don't want her biting me, thinking that I'm a predator. But so far, she hasn't really done anything crazy. Now, I will say that she is constricting my arm right now, but that could also be just for security purposes to make sure that she doesn't fall. And oh my God, you can probably see her tail a lot better now. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but there's all this black speckling coming down the sides there. And then the tip of the tail has like black around the pattern. She's probably not, still not letting you guys see this. She moves so dang much. So I'm gonna go put her back, and then we're gonna talk about a little bit more things. So I did get ball pythons. I got two. This guy, he is a Mojave Pastel or a Pastavi Axanthic Pied. So this guy actually has more so like a white and silver look. Super cool. He is a proven breeder. I have already tried pairing him to some females. Like I said, I've had some most of these things for like several weeks, but he hasn't really been interested. So he is a proven breeder though, so that's interesting that he hasn't really been worried about it. Now obviously the females also play a big part in it. So if the females aren't ready, the male won't be interested. So super cool snake. I love this pattern on him. See it? Silver. I haven't named him, but I'm thinking about calling him Silver. Silver Surfer? Nah, just Silver. Silver works better. But hopefully he gets the breeding for us here soon, because I have 6 females that are Axanthic Pied combos. 2 of them are visual Axanthic Pied. 4 of them are Axanthic Het Pied. So he needs to get to work, because I need some Axanthic Pieds next year. And the other thing about it is, I have 1 het Axanthic that's not Het Pied. I have a visual Axanthic that's not Het Pied. And I have 2 females that are Het DG, Het Axanthic. I technically could pair them to him too. But I have 2 Axanthic Pied combo males. So I only got him as a backup because my other male is a fire, and I have fire in some of my Axanthic females. So I can't breed them together, because then I get a white snake, and I don't want that. So I ended up getting him to have the male for the females that have fire in them. Bearded dragons want attention, okay? But let's go look at the last snake. And honestly, the last snake's pretty basic. So, and you know what? I'm not gonna show her off because so I got her. It was in a trade, and she actually is super skinny. And the guy told me that she had laid eggs a couple months ago, but she has been eating. So I don't know how she's been eating and still looks this skinny. So I tried feeding her. She hasn't really ate. I'm not sure why. Hopefully this guy didn't, jank my chain or nothing. So yeah. So I'll keep trying to feed her. So I don't want to show her on camera and just put some stress on her and everything, and also show how skinny she is. It's not something I want to show off. So I'll just keep trying to feed her, and hopefully she gets better. But she's just a normal snake. She's just a normal ball python. She's DG, het xanthic. We'll see how that goes. But super nice male. Hopefully he breeds for us so we can have some xanthic pies. Hopefully. Now, before I end this video, I just gotta show him off again because he just looks amazing. Like this snake is crazy looking. Where are you going? He's trying to leave. You see? So again, beautiful snake. You guys can't see these colors, but he has an iridescence to him that's just out of this world. It's throughout his entire body because everything is black. So the light hits him and it just bounces all this color off of him because black absorbs light, right? So when it absorbs light, what you see is all of this light combining into the darkness of his scales, and his scales provide an iridescence to it. So you see the rainbow. You essentially see the rainbow. You see Roy G. Biv, all of it. Right now I'm seeing purples, greens, blues, yellows. It's wild. I wish you guys could see this in person. And I know how you can see it in person. When I breed him, you guys buy a baby. Man, it's gonna be amazing. So yes, now I have 4 species of reptiles. Somebody said get Ackie monitors. I'm still working on it. I have to find space, to be honest. You're probably like, I thought you just made more space. I did, but I didn't want it to clutter. So I made space by I made space, and in the same process, I eliminated the clutter. So everything that I have was just kind of spread out more. Now the boas was obviously just a impulse purchase. So I'll make a video essentially about how my layout is and how I plan everything. I still have to get the floor. I still have to paint. I still have to get the trim. So that's where we're at right now. So I still have to sand. I sanded most of the walls. I'm going to the ceiling next. And then from there, obviously I'll wipe down all the walls and ceiling because that's what you have to do before you paint to make sure it adheres to the wall pretty well. And I have to get the flooring. And the flooring is pretty much the easiest part, to be honest, because it just kind of lays into itself because it's LVP, luxury vinyl plank. So it just clicks and goes into itself. So that's where we're at. I should be done probably February. Yeah, I should be done in February. And if I sell a bunch of stuff next month, I'll be done next month. So if you're ready to buy something, go on my website and get something. So today is Christmas Eve, right? So let's do this. Christmas Eve, you guys are probably wondering if I'm going to do a sale. And obviously the people that didn't watch the entire video aren't going to hear this. So that means if you made it this far into the video, you get all of the goodies. So Friday after Christmas, I will be doing a New Year's sale. This New Year's sale will be 50% off everything that I have. Shipping will resume January 6th, I think is what it is. It's a Monday or a Tuesday. That's when it will resume. So that means if you want your stuff half off, you buy it after Christmas. Hopefully you got some Christmas money. You buy it after Christmas. So the Friday after Christmas, I will be doing a half off sale all the way until the 6th. You know what? I'll do it till that Wednesday. I don't know what Wednesday that is. I'll do it till noon that Wednesday. So essentially that gets people to buy stuff and get it shipped that same week. So half off everything. That means you get a $700 snake for $350. You get a $500 snake for $250. I still have some bearded dragons on there. So you get a $150 bearded dragon for $75. You get a $500 bearded dragon for $250. I'm just trying to clear everything out for next season. So that means if you have been looking at something and you don't know what you want, hopefully this helps you. Hopefully this helps you make a decision. Now I do have one more snake I think that I'm listing. She hasn't been on there, but she will be on there before Friday after Christmas. So with that said, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. If I don't make a video again before New Year's, Happy New Year's. Hopefully 2025 is kind to every single person that watches my videos. Hopefully 2025 is kind to the entire world, because I know the last few years have been a little bit hectic, and I know that 2024 was no outlier. It was pretty hectic in 2024 as well, especially here in the United States. The economy has been completely crappy, and hopefully 2025 is kind to every single person. And if you haven't already, go check out the GoFundMe. I'll put that also in the description below for my friend Josh. He passed away a few weeks ago, and his wife is still trying to keep her home, so she is still needing some money. So if you don't mind, just go on to GoFundMe, give a little donation. Anything helps, $5, $10, whatever you can do will help. Like I said in the last video when I was talking about this, I have almost 3,000 subscribers. All we need is a few people. If, 1,000, or not even 1,000 people, if 500 people gave $5, that's all she needs. She only needs $2,400, $2,500, and she actually needs less than that now because she's already got some donations. So I appreciate everyone that has made donations already. I have made a donation from a sale of one of my snakes. Obviously that's, when she told me, that's the only thing I could think of doing was, when I sell a snake, I'm just going to donate a little bit of money, because obviously it's not much, but it's something that I wish most people would just be willing to do. Because like I said in the other video, if everyone in this world just donated $1 for a good cause, we'd have a lot of money, billions donated to this one cause, because everyone in the world donated $1. That's it. Billions for this one cause. So all I ask is that I don't have billions of people. I only have over like 2,800 people that subscribe to me. So all I ask is that a few good people that can or are willing donate a few dollars. That's all I'm asking. Because if she isn't able to keep her home, she might not be able to keep her reptiles, and that's not something that anybody wants. So if you just go watch the other video. It's a tribute to my friend. Not really a tribute. I just mentioned what's going on with her and what she needs, and talked about him a little bit. So if you haven't already, go watch that video. And like I said, donate $5, $10, whatever you can to help. But here we are with boas. I bought the boas before I knew that this was going to happen. So not saying I regret buying the boas, but I wish I was aware, more, it's not really, I think this happens to everybody. They buy something and then they're like, oh man, I could have used that money for something else. And that's more so not regret. That's more so, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not regret. It's like your conscience is playing with you, saying, hey, that money could have gone a long way over here. But it is what it is. One day it'll come back to me and I'll do something good with it. So that's it. So if you made it this far into the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything that I put out in the future. As always, my hand for peace is down here. So there we go. Peace.